Now you can see how hard the seawater's running there under the bridge. Reflection on the water makes Kurt carry on a fair bit. They reckon within a couple of hours, where the rocks are there on the left and the mangroves, all around the edge there, all covered in water. They reckon it's close to an 8 metre tide. It's bloody unbelievable. I've never heard of such a thing. 8 metre tide. Right up underneath the bridge it'll come. So I'm down at the jetty in the Kimberley. I've just been on the phone to the helicopter service. Looks like we're going up to fly over the Kimberleys tomorrow, so that'll be good footage. They reckon there's nearly an 8 metre tide here, I was just told. The water comes right up to the bottom of the bridge there. And where the rocks are in the distance and the mangroves, I reckon those rocks there's only a couple of feet left of rocks. The whole tide comes up and covers the edge. I thought a 2 metre tide back in Broome was big. They're talking an 8 metre tide here. That is absolutely massive. The reflection makes him play up a little bit. You can see all that mining equipment over there. One of those dump trucks, they're brand new. And there's a barge there, that blue barge, the little ship. He will probably drive straight onto that or reverse it on. I think he's going to drive it on. And that little dump truck will be going out to one of the local islands to do some mining. So this is John, guys. John was not hitchhiking, but he was on the side of the road, and me being the gentleman I am, I pulled up and asked if he wanted to lift down to the jetty, and he accepted kindly. He's got a bit of a soft spot for Kurt. What do you think, John? Where are you from again?
Adelaide.
Adelaide, that's right. We're from Geelong. We got one of those dump trucks on the barge. A mini ship called a barge, and you can see to the left there's another truck with a vacuum tank on the back of it. That truck will be going out to clean out one of their septic tanks and bring it back to the mainland, because they actually use that now for farming, believe it or not. Dry it out, kill all the germs, and use it now for farming. So yeah, one down, one of those trucks is on, and there's one to go, and there's a lot of equipment over there, so I could just imagine that barge would be running around the clock getting all the products out to Cooler Island, which is out front there. It's an iron ore mine, and the only reason I know the name of it and the product of it is because John, my mate that I picked up in the car, he was telling me what it was. So yeah, I've even offered him a lift back into town, so I'll run into him again, I'm sure. He was happy to go on YouTube too, bloody legend. Just talking to those blokes back in behind me there. those blokes fishing, they're also in the same caravan park as us. He just told me they've been known to have 9 and 10 metre tides here. And when you go to the toilet over there, I'm going to flip the phone around, it's not uncommon to have your lower legs in the water while you're going to the toilet. Yes, it's an 8 metre tide today, and not uncommon for it to be a 9 or 10 metre tide. That is huge. So the barge is on the move. Going out to Cooler Island to participate in the mining iron ore process. Good luck. Sticks out like dog's balls, that truck. The old tracks have seen better days. There's the old seat. The old seat's just gone. Have a go at her. Like, this contraption back in its day would have been an absolute masterpiece. To think what they're like these days, eh? We've come a long way. All that water that you've seen coming in on the 8, 9 on the high tides, all these flat wetlands here. It's on both sides of the road. They all fill up with water. Yeah, all these flats, you can see the tyre marks there. The sand and the dirt is really quite hard. But yeah, the water comes right up in here, all the way up to the town of Derby in the Kimberleys, where we are right now. Now hang on, hey, before you run away, Kurt wants to know what your name is. How much?
We don't have a dog.
And what's your name?
Eloise.
Eloise. And your name? Sophie? Riley? Lily. And you guys all like Kurt? Yeah?
I like dogs.
Don't run away, I want to tell you something. These guys have all come to see Kurt. He's so popular. Yeah, so earlier when I was down watching that tide come in, Margaret was doing the washing and getting dinner organised, but we're just getting some bait ready to get our crab pots baited up, and we're going to go back down there. The tide runs for a few hours, so you'll see the difference tonight. Hopefully, yeah, before the sun goes down. The sun's got 40 minutes left in it. We'll be there before then, so I'll show you. But this is how quick the decomposing process takes place with maggots. Bacteria is one part of the decomposing process. I've been talking about this on YouTube a little bit with roadkill, etc. And the other bits, the maggots eat a certain amount, they grow, and then a few days later they turn into flies, and then they go and lay more maggots on wherever and whatever they want to lay their maggots on. And it's a cycle that turns over. But I've had this bag out here for a few minutes, and you can already see those big black flies in there. There's a few of them. Those big black flies lay nice big maggots. The maggots will get into the meat, and because there's so much food there, the maggots will eat until they get that big that their outer skin will fall off and they'll turn into a fly. And then, like I say, they fly away, and that whole process just goes over and over and over. But the decomposing process consists of a lot of different things, mainly the internal bacteria eating all the flesh. The first bit of decomposing happens immediately as soon as a human or a animal dies. The first thing they eat is the cuticle that holds the hair into the body. It's the first thing they attack, and then it doesn't mean the hair all falls out straight away. Mother Nature takes care of that. But then they're into the flesh and the meat. They generally leave the skin on the animals, like especially the cows, which is the leather. They don't touch that. But they just demolish everything else right down to the bone. So just a quick bit of, bit of knowledge on those flies, how quick they come, get on the meat, lay their maggots, and, by tomorrow that bag would be chock-a-block full of maggots. But they're going in our crab pots tonight, and who knows, hopefully we'll have some footage of some mud crabs, because they're huge. From here on, right up through the Kimberleys into Crab Claw Island and Darwin, you're going to see some crabs, because I'm bound to get them. Sooner or later, any day, I'll catch crabs. The big crabs with the big claws. Won't you see how big they are? They're monsters. So what you got to do is we're running a couple of old prawns that we haven't eaten in there. Some old squid that we didn't use for bait, for fishing. And a good lump of meat. Crabs are actually not meat eaters, but they're really, really inquisitive, and they will come from a couple of 100 metres away. If the tide's running the right way, if they smell it, they'll come and they'll get in your pot. Game over, dinner plate. So yeah, that's sort of the type of tucker that you want to whack in your cob, in your crab pots. That's all you need. Tie that onto your crab pot so it doesn't fly away. In WA you can only have the round pots, you can't use the opera houses or the big square rectangular cage type pots. You're not allowed to use them in WA. You can over in Northern Territory, but it's got to be the round ones, fair game, so they can walk in and walk out. And you've got to pull it up at the right time and hopefully get yourself a mud crab. So that's where our pots are going to go in, down here in the mangroves. And you're about to see an absolutely gorgeous sunset from the drone. So this is about it. You got your pots, you got to put your name on the pots and fill your bait up with whatever you want to fill it up with. Tie it to the bottom of the pot by 2 and throw it in down there somewhere, and hopefully the big mud crabs want to play the game, hopefully. Yeah, on low tide you can normally walk through all these mangroves. Obviously these rocks have been put here by man and machine, women, whatever, it doesn't matter, to stop the erosion and corrosion process with these big 8, 9, 10 metre tides that do a lot of damage to our levee banks. But you know, there's the pier you've seen before. You would have seen it just then on the drone. The king tides, when they're coming in, they are ferocious. They just roar in and do a lot of damage to the levee bank. So that's why there's so many rocks here and along the waterfront through there. You would have seen it all on the drone. It's just to preserve the land for many years to come. The rocks really slow that process down by decades and decades. bloody hard work checking these mud crabs. Pots.